Hey, what's up, guys? Eli Fishman here, back with another interview, and today I'm very glad to be joined by Tom Hackimer, pitcher in the Minnesota Twins organization. Tom, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How are you doing, during this time? What are you up to right now?
Doing well, trying to just stay in shape on the off chance that I do pitch in some meaningful capacity this year, but mostly trying to, my player development goal is working on command, so that's, throwing bullpens and lives, which is what I'd be doing anyway, so it works out pretty well.
Do you have any new hobbies during the quarantine?
I started, it started back in November, but it really kicked up during the quarantine, but I actually started homebrewing beer. Uh, So that was when I got way more time to have fun with that than I thought I would.
Pitching wise, what are you thinking about the whole situation? Because I feel like the biggest thing about the minor league season being canceled is you're basically missing a whole year of development. So, how have you managed that, and how do you think that's going to affect you for years to come?
Personally, I think that it's unfortunate. I really liked where I was at right before everything started to get canceled. And my focus has been, like I said, command and trying to just, rein everything in, throw everything over the white thing, not really focusing too much further than that. And I think that as much as I can work on that in bullpens and stuff, and even in live, I think that once you are up there, suited up, facing someone in a different uniform, there's a different element that sort of takes control, where it becomes more of a mental thing to be able to stay locked into focusing on what I have to focus on to command the ball in those situations. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that this year, it seems. But trying to do my best to simulate that as much as possible.
Have the Twins told you guys to keep ready, in case they want to call guys up to the taxi squad? What's the situation with the Twins' communication to you?
It's actually been pretty good compared to what I've heard from friends of mine who are in other organizations. I was given what I would call a pretty clear assessment of where I'm at, which is not a 0% chance that I would pitch if it came to that, if people got hurt or sick, that I could be called up to the taxi squad at some point, but that it's not terribly, terribly likely, and I shouldn't be, planning my schedule around that. So that I'm at sort of the tail end of the people who are in consideration for that.
Last year, you had an absolutely dominant year, pitching up to Double-A. Opponents hit 170 off you, 2.54 ERA. Talking about your overall season last year, what was really working for you?
I started to, the year before I'd been hurt on and off. I finally got that taken care of. I had a shoulder surgery where they moved my bicep tendon, which I didn't know was a thing you could do. And it, helped a lot. My arm didn't hurt every time I tried to throw a ball, which is always nice. But it was really just being able to get back to comfortably throwing in the arm slot that gets me, success, where I'm getting a lot of lateral movement on my fastball and slider. I developed a changeup towards the end of the year, which helped. But really just being able to get that movement, because that's really how I managed to, I don't throw that hard compared to a lot of the people I play with or against. And that's how I can stay competitive, is making sure I'm maximizing the lateral movement that I get, because it makes it very hard to barrel the ball up.
All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to screen share my screen with a video of you pitching. Because you have such a complicated submarine, and I kind of want you to break down your throwing.
Before we even start, we need to start with the fact that I'm wearing Bob Ross socks, which are very, very important for command. It helps a lot. I had to go to command camp this year to try to work on that. So early before spring training, and I wore those socks every single day. Those are very important.
Okay, so first I want to say 90.5 miles per hour Submarine is no easy feat. No easy feat. All right, so I'm going to play it out and let you talk through it.
I added in this glove tap last year to try to help with consistency, so that was cool. It's been really helpful. And my knee just flexes after I throw for some reason, which is weird. it like gives in further, which is awkward. So I added in the glove tap to kind of remind me of being an infielder and trying to get some like rhythm back in the motion. I'm trying to play with like doing more of a counter rotation thing, like a Josh Hader, but that's not quite setting yet. I'm really, really flexible, which is why I can get to this really painful looking position. And then, yeah, usually that last bit where my arm is coming through is where people are like, that looks like it hurts a lot. And usually my response is, it does, just not really in the moment. I end up being super sore in my elbow because of that. Every PT I've ever worked with has been like, yeah, the way you throw is when you look at valgus stress, which is stress usually going straight to the UCL in like a PT textbook. Like if you stop it right as I release the ball, that is like the textbook position for like pure valgus stress. So my elbow muscles are doing a lot of work to basically hold my elbow together right there. Yeah.
What's your pickoff move like? Because the angle that you're at when you come set looks very awkward for a pickoff move.
I honestly don't pick off that often if I can avoid it. I try to hold runners mostly by varying holds and being quick to the plate. I'll be honest, I try to avoid picking off as much as possible. I think that my senior year of college, I might not have picked off.
Really?
I try to avoid it. I have a lot of show me moves. I have one very quick one. But it's before I come set. I just look like to first base. I can look over, step off, and throw it sidearm over there before coming set, and that's like my actual good pickoff move. But otherwise, they're pretty average.
How did you get to that position? Submarine. Were you always a submarine guy?
I think I didn't pitch until I was a freshman in college. Up till then, I played short, and I in high school I pitched 0 innings. I played short, and my arm slot naturally is like a very low 3/4, and it was a pretty easy transition from there. Just be like, okay, so we're gonna do this, but we're just gonna bend over a little bit. And that was what it wasn't my decision. It was Coach Blankmeyer at St. John's saw me throwing across the infield at a camp, and just like made a very offhand comment to someone that I would probably be a good side armor. And that was like the very, very beginning of me going to St. John's and becoming a side armor.
So you said you were a shortstop?
Yeah, I must have been at a camp when I was like 17 and like a junior in high school. And Blankmeyer saw me throwing across the infield from short, maybe making like, some like running in throws where you're throwing him sidearm anyway, or like turning double plays. And he was like, that kid would probably be a good sidearm pitcher. And I didn't have anywhere to go to play college baseball because I couldn't hit. And eventually it was just like, you can walk on at St. John's and try to be a pitcher. It's like, all right. I got there and they're like, okay, you throw sidearm now. It's like, okay.
What's your progression been like velocity-wise?
Ooh, this is always a fun one. My freshman year of college, I threw 78 to 82-ish. The next year, it's probably like 83 to 86. My junior year, I had ACL reconstruction and then came back, and I was like 88, 90-ish after that, which was, everyone was very surprised. They were very confused as to how I'd done that. And then my senior year, I think for the most part, I was like 88 to 91, 92, and I ran it up to 93, 94 once or twice.
Now I'm a big Driveline guy too. Like I watch all the videos and stuff. And what I noticed is when in one of the videos you were doing pull downs and your pull down was like kind of 3/4 over the top a little bit, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that's just how that's what I would call my like normal arm slot. And it's just, that's what I do like most of my long toss and stuff from. But even that, I think that might have crept down over the years. Like it might have, because I think now it's really just like, it's very much like a Chris Sale, Randy Johnson. Like my hand is barely above my shoulder normally. And when I pitch, obviously it's below. But that has always been just like how I've thrown. And it's just, and for the Driveline stuff, especially if I'm doing pull downs or like long toss or any heavy-ish weighted balls, anything over 7 ounces, I'm probably throwing it from that higher slot because it's just more comfortable for me.
How has the Driveline helped you progress over the years? And, talk to me about what specific program you're on, what you do.
Well, I started using it the winter of my senior year of college. That was the first time I did like the full weighted ball pull down program. That was a lot of fun, and I think it probably did. It got me like a tick or two velocity wise, but it helped bring up the floor basically. As my outings got longer, I wouldn't drop off as much as I did in the past. I would hold velocity longer. And then as I got into professional baseball, and over, I basically got told that, like, we don't need you to throw any harder. We just need you to throw strikes. My use of the driveline stuff has changed in that I just focused a lot more on pitch design. I got my slider to where I wanted it to be, which is like the big frisbee slider. I developed a changeup eventually, even after, forcing it for several years. I finally got it. And just making sure that making sure I could check in that my pitches were looking and moving like how I wanted them to. Using plyos mostly for arm care and sort of feeling out little mechanical changes I was trying to make. And now my main focus is using like the different weighted and the differential balls that are different sized to try to work on developing feel, so I have a better idea of where I'm throwing the ball and how to adjust if I'm missing.
I feel like it's going to be a total Moneyball story someday, Driveline. And also I think it's interesting how you say, guys want him so bad, because I feel like at first everybody was hating on guys like Trevor Bauer for, what are you doing throwing with weighted balls? And then there was all the, worry about UCL.
Yeah. I mean, Trevor's personality probably didn't exactly help that, but it's very much been a big change, even from when I was drafted by the Twins in 2016 to now. Like, I used to have to, my first spring training 2017, I had to figure out when the coaches meeting was. So I knew when all of the coaches were going to be in one room in a meeting, so I could go outside and do my plyos without getting yelled at. Like, I had to sneak out and make sure that no one could see me doing them.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Twins now we have every now and then, I'm teaching guys how to do them, because we have everyone has to do them in some capacity now, basically. So we've come a long, long way.
Is it that they were so worried about UCL? Do you think that was it?
I think it was our pitching coordinator was very old school. And it's one of those things where I understood it, because it was a lot of people understand what worked for them, and everything else is kind of, they think it's eyewash. And so he just thought that weighted balls were eyewash. He's like, there's no point in you doing them. They're not going to help. And I was like, all right, but I've been doing them, and they're what sort of got me here. So why would I stop doing them?
All right, man. Last question for you before I let you go. If you were MLB Commissioner for one day, what would you do to the game?
Oh, God. That's a good question. I would go no DH, ban the DH.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't want it to be universal. I kind of enjoy that distinction between the American and the National League.
Would that be different if you were in the National League?
No, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Okay.
I'm probably a much better hitter now than I ever was when I was actually a hitter. I would go with, remove, I know it's just for this year, but I would also pick people to just be mic'd up randomly during games. I think that would be a ton of fun if you picked them carefully. I don't know. I would also remove pitch clocks. I think the pitch clock is dumb. I don't know if we're enforcing that in the MLB yet, but.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it, and hope to see you. Hope spring training 2021 actually happens.
Yeah. Here's hoping we have everything figured out by then.